Okay, so welcome to the call. I'm very excited to have you all here today. So we're going to jump right in. So 5 biggest blocks to getting clients. So congratulations for joining the webinar today. You're ahead of the pack even being here. So I'm really excited about what we're going to cover today, and I really hope that you are too. I'm sure you're going to get some really great gems that you can use in your business to get more clients. So what you're going to get out of today's webinar is to recognise what's stopping you from getting clients. And in saying this is not huge revelations potentially, but it's about really making the connections in your brain around what's stopping you as an individual. And it's very structured today, so I'm going to be covering 5 key things that may be stopping you, and then it's up to you to take that on board and really determine what to do about it. I'm going to have lots of suggestions and ideas to share with you. So I'm sure by the end of the call, you'll be having some aha moments and be able to put some new things into practice to get some results really quickly. So to get the most out of this webinar today, it'd be great if you could find yourself in a nice quiet spot, turn off your phone, turn it off, put it away from you so you're not distracted to be looking at messages, etc., because you could just miss something really big. Grab yourself a glass of water, sit back and relax, and enjoy and be open to what I've got to say again and how it relates to you. So as a bonus for coming on the call, I am going to be offering something great at the end of the call. So I hope you'll stick in with it and be there to hear about how I could support you further. Also, what I find as well, because I sometimes do it myself, is you might get on a webinar and say, oh yeah, I get the gist of what she's saying, but it's really about, to get the most out of it, it's about committing to the end and making sure that you're not missing anything, because sometimes the gold can come right at the end where you start to join the dots together. So let's start with me, shall we? Unlike me to want to talk about myself. No. So I just want to let you know that I have been, and I still do, overcome various things that come up that stop me getting clients. I feel like now, though, that I've really got a pretty good formula happening and I know how to replicate it. I've got, a full book of clients, and I know when, people finish up, I know how to fill the spots. And for me, it's about even expanding that further and expanding my business further. But the biggest block for me to getting clients was fear, I think, especially in the early days. And it was really about fear of what people will think of me. I remember, because I actually studied coaching, and I started off many moons ago as a life coach, and people just have a really, and even today, there's a bit of a stigma around it. Oh, that's, a bit of rubbish, this whole life coaching thing. So I did have a fear about putting myself out there. And so I avoided even using the term life coach. And I didn't talk about what I did when I was in social situations. And it really impacted, because once I got over that fear and said, look, this is what I am a coach, and this is what I do, and this is how I support people, then I really started to find that clients started coming my way. So what I want for you to do today is, as we're going through and I'm mentioning blocks, to be aware about what's coming up for you and what might be a potential block for you, whether it's an internal block or whether it's something around, a knowledge block or any other block that there is around getting clients. So over to you. I've got this lovely picture for you because I often think it is a little bit about the tipping point. I mean, Malcolm Gladwell's even written a book called The Tipping Point. But for me, it's about, gaining momentum, making some tweaks, and then all of a sudden you'll start getting results. And even if it's not straight away or the next day, you will have, there will be an impact from what you do. So sometimes even a very small tweak can get great results. So for example, for me, a a small tweak that I made was in my conversations with people. I actually changed the language that I use and the things that I said, and asked for the sale. And it sounds like a very simple thing, but I actually changed one sentence really, and I started getting more sales. So I think for you, it can often be that if by changing one thing you can make a huge difference and get closer to that tipping point where you're on that ride going downhill going woo woo. So for me with clients at the moment, I feel like that's what it's like. I actually want to share with you, I just had a client meeting before this call today, and I did it for a number of reasons. One, I sort of get charged when I'm around people and working with people. It really gives me a buzz. I'm passionate about it. But we sat there in this meeting and I was coaching him and supporting him, and of course hoping that I was going to get the sale because I really liked him. I'd really like to support him in his business. And he just said, "You are so relaxed in this conversation. I can't believe it." And he said, I'm going to say yes before I've even heard the price. He said, "This is just amazing that you're so comfortable that you're not leading with the price." And so it's just an example of being on that when you've hit that tipping point and you've got the clients coming to you, then you no longer have to have that desperation around it. So it does so many things for you to start getting those clients numbers in. And I'm really going to show you some key ways you can start doing that today. So let's talk about a few of my tweaks that I've made over the years, and I continue to tweak in all aspects of the business. But the first one there I've got on the screen is doing enough right activities to get clients. In the early days, once I started knowing how to speak about what I do in terms of the benefits to other people and be passionate about it, sure, I was getting more interest, but I wasn't really doing enough of the right sort of activities. So it's really about making sure that you've got a bit of a combination of things you're doing to get clients and not just the one thing. So if you're, say, for a member of Business Networking International, that's a great way to get clients, especially if you're starting out, and good practice at standing up and sharing what you do. But if it's the only thing that you're doing, then you're probably not going to get all the clients that you want. So it's about really doing enough of the right activities to get clients, which I'm going to talk a bit more on later. Another one that was a big tweak for me was getting support from other people, and I stopped trying to do everything on my own. And a combination with that is really working out what sort of support that I wanted from other people. And it could be, for instance, I paid for a mentor earlier this year, and paid a lot of money to plan out my year. I paid $5,000 for a couple of hours conversation, but it was really worth it. And I'm not saying that, everyone wants to spend $5,000 for a couple of hours of mentoring, but was it worth the money? Yes, definitely. So I'm going to talk more about getting support from other people and how you can do that later on the webinar as well. That coupled with learning off great people. So be open to learning from other people and taking on board really what resonates with you and what you think will be work for your business. Please be careful about just taking on advice on board willy-nilly from people who aren't qualified to give you advice in the first place. Another tweak that I made is around being more structured and strategic in the business. And I'm sort of a structured person, but it was that bigger picture structure of, okay, let's just not talk about it's not about just structuring my week or my month, but, let's structure the next year and the year after that. And having, that bigger vision has really helped me. Otherwise, I've continued to go along and I'd get clients and life would be good. But, I want to be challenged and I want to grow the business, in other ways, and learn and grow and be successful. So to do that, on a bigger scale, I need to be more structured and strategic, which is what I'm doing. And I'm also, another tweak that I've made is around being much more fearless. So even if I'm feeling a bit uneasy, that I make sure that I recognise what it is and then just go for it. So results of my tweaks is that I'm creating a life that on some levels is very different from my upbringing. So I really want to share this with you, that everything can be learned and you can change the way you do things, but you're alone responsible for that. So I'm not bagging my upbringing. I had a wonderful upbringing, but I wasn't born an entrepreneur or into an entrepreneurial family, or even a family, and no one in the family had any sort of small business. So I had a lot of blocks around that. So so now I feel like I'm really living the life, and it's worth, getting all those clients has been life changing for me. And I compare it, for instance, to my own upbringing, where didn't get on an aeroplane until I was 20 years of age, and I saved up enough of my money to do it. And these days, for example, I've got this 5-year-old daughter who's been to 6 countries already. So for me, this is just not about getting clients for the sake of getting clients. It's about helping people in a way that I'm passionate about, but also, it's a lifestyle thing. It's more, actually, the guy who came this morning also said to me, I chose you out of all the people that I Googled because to me it seemed like this was more about your whole life rather than just the business. And that's what I'm really, really about. And I know most of my clients and you here today are as well. So, so we are pushing against often our own hardwiring around things, and making change can be a bit tricky, but it is about just taking those small steps to get those clients rolling in. So, for instance, when I was young, my beautiful dad said to me, I came to him, I never forget it, when I was in my early 20s, and I'd finished uni, but I wanted to earn some money before I went overseas. And there was a job as a sandwich hand and a job in sales that was commission only. And what do you think he advised me to do? That's right, get the job as a sandwich hand. And I did that. And so for me, it wasn't breaking the mold and being brave. I was really taking the safer option. And so I really encourage you to think twice about just staying in that safe comfort zone. So I feel now that I'm very brave and can move away from values that have been part of your life that maybe aren't serving you so well anymore. So now I work 25 hours a week. I've got a property investment portfolio, and I can easily get 20 clients in 20 hours because I've done it on several occasions, and I know how I can replicate this. So I just wanted to share a bit of my story, and how getting more clients and learning how to do that well has really changed my life. As corny as it sounds, it just has. And there's a little picture for you of what it's really about for me. So that's just last Wednesday, we just went down to Hampton Beach and we're just mucking around on the sand with the kids. And because I can do that. Wednesday's Adventure Day and we do something fun together. So this is about really making a difference to your business and getting clients, so it's no longer just about the money, it's about what you can do with that money and with that freedom. Wanted to say today too that just even being here and doing what you're doing, you're ahead of the pack. So a lot of you already have your own business or are considering it. I know a few people on the webinar today have been in business for years and are very successful already, but you're always continually learning. So good on you for coming on board and being willing to, stretch your mind and pick up some new tips. You're probably a person who takes risks and wants to do things differently because you have shown up and you have, you are an entrepreneurial small business person. You're not just going off working for somebody else. You want to, you probably want to do something that you're passionate about and make a difference. As I mentioned, you're continually learning, and that you recognize that you can learn more, that no matter how successful or famous we are, we all have blocks that throw us. I love the story of Barbara Streisand. I saw an interview with her and she was talking about a block of hers being a bit of fear that still comes up to this day, and that she went to give this wonderful concert, and she said the worst people are in the front row. She said, I just have this real fear around what people think of me. I'm thinking, oh yeah, I can relate to that. And she said they paid all this money in the front row and they don't even look like they're enjoying it. And she said it took a while for her to really overcome that fear and anxiousness around not being liked or feeding too much off what other people's reactions and what they're thinking. And an example of that as well is that she wouldn't have even known really what they were thinking, but it was just wasn't that she wasn't getting the feedback or reaction that she was expecting. So you're here today realizing that, stuff comes up for us no matter who we are, and that you're here to learn some new tips and strategies. And I also want to say that I attract high achievers, and I know that most of you are high achievers. And I like surrounding myself with those people. So you're definitely ahead of the pack by even being on the webinar today. So we're going to cover what's stopping you or what you're doing, what you're not doing. A lot of you, if you registered a little, I think it was up to a few days ago, we would have sent out an email saying if you could have a think about what you think is stopping you or what you're doing or not doing to get clients. So feel free to email those through to info@maureenpound.com. And if I'm not covering them off today, I will happily raise them or send you an email after the call to address anything that I haven't addressed. So I'm just not here to just preach to you today. I really want this to be valuable. So there's two reasons why I sent you the email. One was so that you could hone in exactly what you were looking for in today's call, which is really important to get the best use of your brain. And the other thing was so that you'd have the opportunity to, throughout the call, send me emails or questions as we go along. So I've got my fantastic digital marketing assistant here who will be able to receive your emails, pass them on to me. And if I'm not covering them off, as I said, I will respond, or if not immediately, I'll definitely email you at the end of the webinar. And even if you haven't thought this through, or you just registered, say, this morning and you haven't had a chance to think about it, it'd be really great if you take just 10 seconds now to think about what's stopping you or what are you doing or not doing at the moment that's stopping you getting clients. Can you do that now, please? Sorry. Okay, so what else are we going to cover is 5 things stopping you from getting clients, and then we're going to look at practical suggestions and examples of what to do about it. And I'm all about the practical examples. Okay, and let's go. Then I'm going to get you to actually commit to doing something about what you've come up with in your brain today. So the whole idea is that I'm going to share information and examples, and your brain's going to be going at 100 miles a minute, going, oh, how does this work for me? So I want you to be really open-minded about it. And when I start giving those practical suggestions, and you make those connections in your brain, you're going, oh, right, yes, that's a good thing for me. Then I want you to take it that step further and to commit to actually doing something about it. And then we're going to talk about how I can further help you if you'd like my support. Okay, so let's go. Whoops. Sorry, I've just put you into the wrong screen. I'll just get back. Sorry. Okay. So we're going to look at what's stopping you. So if you haven't yet emailed, please email them through. Now, one of the biggest blocks, number one block to getting more clients is fear. So this is something that often obviously comes from within. But the thing that just really annoys me is that fear is seen as a negative thing or a bad thing, or we don't like to talk about it. Well, everyone experiences fear. It's there for a reason. And I've got the picture of the brain there because it's really about your brain. What happens is when you think something, then you get a chemical reaction in your brain, and cortisol, your stress hormone, is released. And then your body then feels a certain way. So if you ever want to look up anything around this, feel free to look up, neuroscience and fear. Just the basics today. So I want to say that it is very normal and it's there for a reason. So fear protects us. If we think back to caveman times, and there's a big mammoth heading towards you, you're probably going to experience fear. There's a thought goes in your mind, and then the hormones released, and there's a reaction to that. So what happens is fear is that often it can manifest itself in different ways. And so if you've feared something once in the past or got a bad reaction, so for instance, you made a cold call and someone wasn't very nice to you, then every time you go to pick up the phone, your brain may have hardwired that. And so that every time you go in that, you put yourself in that circumstance, you're going to feel the same way. So it's really important for you to recognize that that's what's happening around your fear. So that see fear for what it is. It's a tool that your body and an emotion that your body needs to feel. But it's then about, okay, recognizing where it's coming from, and then feeling it and then moving through it. So the really common one for my clients is fear of failure, and also fearing what people think of you, and feeling I love the one. So I'm obviously doing a lot of digital marketing lately, and for me it's been really tough because over the years I have this real fear of not being liked. And so even today I get a reaction when people unsubscribe from my email list. I send out blogs and information, but I also send out marketing material. And this is a huge one because a lot of my clients I work with, they'll say, oh yes, I'll send out my newsletter once every 2 months. And so the fear of what people think of them overrides the fact that people need to hear more for them to be front of their minds. So they're actually missing out on business by this, people are going to complain that we send too many emails. I'm doing some work for a big organisation at the moment. I'm facilitating their board meeting and supporting them. And it was interesting. One of them said to me, we've got to look at emails. We're sending out too many emails. And I just thought, because people are complaining, there's probably one person who's complained or two people out of their list of thousands. So, and then they're feeling like, we don't want to offend that person, or, they're going to unsubscribe for our list. So really be mindful of what, if you've got any fears coming up for you and how they're affecting you. So moving on to that, this is how fear can manifest itself. So what people say to me or to themselves when the fear is stopping them. And so it's stopping them from getting clients and the client numbers that they want in their business. So they might be waiting for the right time. So I can't. So for instance, I could not have put on this webinar today because I haven't done a whole lot of webinars before. So, it's probably not the right time, which then feeds into not doing ahead till something's perfect. So often we have fear and we stop ourselves because you don't go ahead until, it's not going to be quite perfect. It's never going to be quite perfect, but it's better to do something that's not quite perfect than not do it at all. And I'm, going to have huge learning from this webinar today, and I'm still going to give huge value even if it's not absolutely perfect. Or I say, it's not quite the right time, I'll just wait and always wait. And then you just keep waiting and you spend your life waiting for the right time. You can also stop yourself getting clients by saying you're not good at something. So, so many people say to me, I'm just not good at sales. And it's a bit of a cop-out, really. Everything can be learned, as I said, and you can change your take on things. Often fear manifests itself by saying, that won't work for my situation. My business is different. Every business is different, but you can still learn from what's gone before. So don't stop yourself getting clients by saying you're not going to take action because it wouldn't work for your situation. Waiting till you have enough money. Sometimes the day will never come. So you've got to, invest to make money. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later in one of the other points. But often we don't actually invest money in the right places, and sometimes it mightn't take a lot of money at all to get started. So really think about if that's an excuse for you. Following the masses and just doing what everyone else is doing because you think it's right. Why don't break the mold and do something differently? We often blame others or the situation. So, and I'm going to be really frank, most clients, I've got about a 95% retention rate. Sometimes some people pull out. And it could be me, but often it's about what's going on for them. But they'll say, oh, well, you said this or you did this. And often it's, and I'll wear that. But often underlying, it's a fear about what's going on for them and taking that next big step in their business. Planning till you have all the answers. It's never going to happen. I would never say don't plan, because I think it's really important to, but really make sure that there's a point where you take action rather than just waiting for all those answers to come along. Saying you don't know enough about something to take action around it. So I often hear, well, I'm just not a marketer. I don't know enough around marketing. But in fact, marketing is not rocket science. So my example is, for that, a client that I've got has come to me, I don't really know a lot about marketing, but they've actually been successful without knowing a lot around marketing. So we're going to talk a little bit about that just in a short while. But you don't have, it's not like there's this golden chalice out there of marketing that's going to give you all the answers. It's about learning more, finding out more, and getting support and taking action. Just moving things down. Okay, so even now, start having a bit of a think around what is coming up for you. Okay, so overcoming fear. Let's now look at, we've talked about fear and how it manifests itself, and now let's look about how you can actually overcome it. So what I always say is, live the life the way you want to live it, and be yourself and be proud. You have a unique offering, and this you might need to rationalize in your brain until it becomes a habit for yourself. And if it's appropriate, be the face of your business. So here we've got a picture of Matt Bullock, the eWay CEO. Now, is he the shiniest looking person you've ever seen? No. Is it the perfect image? No. In fact, research has shown that people relate to someone who looks real and not too shiny. So I'm not saying don't shine yourself up, but I'm saying be yourself and be proud and put yourself out there. Because once you start putting yourself out there and are really true to who you are, then the more people are going to be attracted to you and what you have to offer. Especially in the early days of your business, if you don't have a huge budget, then you are your key marketing person in your business, and you need to get yourself out there in whatever way possible. So, for instance, I put myself out in Facebook. I'm happy to be the face of the business. Again, a bit of fear around rejection, but I did a Facebook promoted post on procrastination kickers, a procrastination kicker session for entrepreneurs and business owner. Did a promoted post, and we ended up getting $21,000 from that promoted post. So people booked in a time, had the session, and I got lots of business for it. So there I was the face of the business, and I put myself out there on social media. So if you are going to use social media, don't try and do too much. Just think about something that really resonates with you. Maybe it's LinkedIn, maybe it's Facebook, maybe it's Twitter, whatever it is, and make sure you build on that thing and be the face in that, using that tool rather than trying to do a whole lot at once. Recognize that you overcome fear by recognizing it for what it is, which I've talked about there. Just a chemical reaction in your brain. And if you think differently about something, then you'll feel differently about it. If you think differently about something, then you'll start feeling differently about it. I also like to say do the Richard Branson test. So if you have an excuse for not doing something, so I don't want to call all my current clients to see how they're going, or my past clients, because, oh, I don't feel like it's going to be useful and they mightn't want to receive my call, or whatever's coming up for you, think, okay, is that just an excuse? Would Richard Branson listen to that excuse coming up in his brain, or would he go, no, from a business perspective, it's probably good to get in touch with my past clients, or get someone else to get in touch with your past clients. So that's a really good way for you to be aware of it as well. Another way to overcome fear, if it's coming, any sort of fear is coming up for you, is to take baby steps and build on it. So I have a client and she's not big for getting on the phone. And this is to people, I'm not even saying cold calling, I'm saying to people that she knows, just getting herself out there. And so she just said to me, it's great. She knows where limits are. And she said, well, baby step for me is to make, well, she actually said, I'm going to make 2 calls before the next time I see you. So for her, it's still a stretch, but it's still overcoming a fear. And once she does that, then she can build on it. And next time she might be able to call 5 people or set up coffee meetings or whatever she wants to do to continue to build the relationships to get clients in the business. If you might want to say a baby step might be getting help 5 hours a week in the business. Everyone has this thing about employing people, and it's almost like it's the last thing you'd ever do. I think I've mentioned it in a slide later on as well. But you'll pay for a website, you'll pay for all these things that you think a business needs, but you won't pay for help. Like, it's just ridiculous. So really think, if you paid $20 an hour for 5 hours a week, surely it's not gonna break the bank. So think, okay, what's the biggest help that I need now, and what's to get clients, and what's a baby step that I can take straight away to get something moving there. Now, so find out how to do something by learning about it. So none of this is really rocket science. It's about going for it and testing and measuring. So I really would encourage you to get out there and do it and then learn from it, because it's all, as I said, stepping stones. So, for instance, the fear around marketing, and failure and not knowing enough about marketing and all those things that come up for people. I say, well, marketing is simply about promoting and selling products or services, and it's not this big, huge thing. So, for an example, a client of mine, they own this art, I was going to call it a store. Let's just call it an art shop, right? So they sell art. And people were going in there and they discovered this market need, because some of the art, the wall hangings were really huge. And they'd be asking for people to, for support to bring the art, not only deliver it, but to hang it for them. And they've now got this booming business hanging art for people when they purchase it, and it's spreading and other people are asking for them to help hang art as well. But the thing is, now they're learning to market it better, because when they make a sale, they offer to come and hang the art. Now that is something so simple, and it's a fantastic marketing technique. It doesn't cost them any money. It's not all this huge extra effort. It's just a new system or a structure in the conversations that they're having with people. So have a think for yourself. Is there a way that you can tweak a conversation, and do something, and act on it based on, on what you're hearing or what you're seeing out there? So what marketing approach can you take, for example, or what tweak can you make? So if you find out things, you learn and then you act on it. And I've just given you the art hanging. So block number 2. So we've looked at fear as block number 1. Block number 2 is you don't do enough to get clients, or you don't do what it takes. I have a client recently, and he just started, and he was really honest. He said, Maureen, I don't think that I want this enough. I have too much fear around it. It's just, and what he worked out was it wasn't the most important thing for him, wasn't to be successful in his business. It was to bring in money from the family, and he felt more secure. He got offered a job and he took it. And that is all credit to him for making that realization. So he said, I'm not prepared to do what it takes. So I suppose you have to think about that for yourself as well. Are you prepared to do what it takes? And it doesn't have to be huge things, but it has to be consistent, and you have to continually be proactive in getting clients. And if you're not up for it, then be honest with yourself about it. But if it's really important for it and you need it and you really want it because it's going to give you freedom in your life and your business, then go for it. And I'm here to support that. So you've got to identify what makes you hungry. Because Mum used to always say, oh, they're just not hungry enough and that's why they're not successful. And I think there's something in that. You have to find what makes you hungry and use that spot. Is it your family, providing your family? Is it, I've got a couple of clients, male clients, and they have babies on the way. And so for them, it's really about being successful and being successful entrepreneurs so that they can provide. And they see their business as the best way of doing that, and getting clients is a strong part of it. For me, it is, yes, it's about my family, as I mentioned, but it's also, I know that I care what other people think of me in terms of my success, and what I think of myself in terms of my success. So I use that as a motivator. Other people wouldn't give a crap about that. So don't use what's not working for you. Stick with those things that really are. Okay, so give away as much as you can so that you're always front of mind. So some people think, oh, but I'm giving away too much. You'll always have more to give. There'll always be, you're an individual, you're unique, it's your area of specialty. So they'll always have more. You'll always have more to give. And I've got a colleague / client called James Tuckerman, who he's check out antil.com, and he always says it's a little bit like a famous chef who keeps giving recipes and recipes. Do you think he's going to worried about giving away all his recipes? Hell no. He's getting out there. The way recipes are being shared, his name is getting out there. And what's going to happen from that? Well, they could say, hey, I'm going to go buy a recipe book now because I really like that one recipe I got, or those few recipes I've got. Or number two, they're going to be raised in discussion, and you're going to get referrals from someone else who says that's a great recipe. Or three, maybe people will go away and try and implement it themselves and need your help to implement the recipe. So they're going to call on you, and you'll get business from that. The worst that could happen is they're not going to, but you haven't lost anything. So really be mindful about, please give away as much as you can. Start blogging, start sending out e-zines, talk to people, offer. So it's really, giving is the in thing, and I think there's a reason for it. So start being more, and obviously learn to sell from your giving and be more strategic about it, but it's a really useful thing to do. Be prepared to fail fast and learn. So overnight successes are usually not. So Steve Jobs was not an overnight success. He put a lot of work into Apple, and in the beginning, as most of you know, it wasn't the key company out there. Now everyone knows what Apple's about, and everyone seems to have Apple products, and it's huge. Same with Russell Crowe. He apparently went to Hollywood 13 times for the pre-season until he actually got his first feature film in his early 30s. So overnight success? No, the person put in some hard yards. And like those, overnight success website companies, those people have been willing to take action and learn to get their clients and get success. So please don't try and wait for everything to be perfect or hope that one day this great idea is going to take off. You need to put in some work and learn from it. Another way to do what it takes is connect with people. And this is really important, especially in the beginning stages of your business, or if you don't have huge budgets. It doesn't cost a lot to get on the phone, spread the word. For instance, I ran a seminar last year, and I think I got about 50 people there, and most of the people came from me reconnecting with past clients on the phone. So really great strategy to use. Let's go back one, sorry. And be prepared to do with things that are a bit uncomfortable. I'm not saying you have to get yourself on the rack or anything like that, but do something that's a bit of a stretch. So, start mentioning what you do in social situations and hone in exactly what you're going to say. Is make calls. You might do a webinar. You might apply to speak at events, even if they're small, or speak in front of a group of people, because you're reaching more people than just having one-on-one conversations. Look at how you can sell better. So you've got to do a few things that are uncomfortable, but the more and more you do it, the less uncomfortable it is. I have a client who used to have this fear of, cold calling, and she finally started doing it, and now she just sees it totally different. She's connecting with people, finding out if she can support them, and it's not so painful anymore. You've got to spend the time and the brain power to do it. And so I'm asking you, how much time do you spend on marketing at the moment, putting yourself out there? And it mightn't be much time at all. I really encourage you to start to think about that. How much are you spending? A lot of people will end up saying, a couple of hours a week, and you expect to compete with other people, other companies, or even other small businesses, and you're not spending the time or the brain power on it. So map out your week. Say, okay, Monday mornings, I'm going to, that's going to be strategic time, and then act on it. But if you don't put some structure in place, it's just not going to happen. You've got to spend the time and the brain power. And if it's not you, then you need to get people to support you in doing it, which I'm going to talk about just in the next couple of points. The third biggest block to getting clients is not communicating well. So you can be a really nice person and everyone loves you, but that doesn't mean you're going to get clients. So prepare for your communication. If you're going to a meeting, work out what you want to say, key questions you're going to ask, and how you're going to ask for the sale. There might be something like, I'd love to work with you. I think you're great. I think I can really help. What do you think? How do you be prepared to ask the question and then get the response from people and then work out what to do with that response. And then, because then you're not even, I'm not asking for a sale in that circumstance. I'm putting it out there that I'd like to work with you. What do you think? And they'll say, yes, I'd love to work with you, or no, not now. So you've got more to go on. So really be good to prepare for your communication. So saying the right things in the right way. So I often go into a conversation, and when I had the training company, it would be, what would you like your people to be able to do better? Not, would you like some marketing training from your staff? You see what I mean? You're getting them to come up with their own outcomes in a conversation of what they want. And then if you say, what would you like your people to be able to do better? And then they say, I'd love them to be able to have fantastic sales conversations. Then you can say, fantastic. I have this product or service that will help your staff do that. So we know that a lot of the communication is about listening, but it's also about knowing the types of questions to ask and being really relaxed in the process. Ask for that sale. I was a bit cheeky where I had this client and I went in there and I just said, he's the CEO, I'd really like to coach you. I think you'd benefit for these reasons. So what do you reckon? And I got the sale, so I coached him. And not only that, he's just come back to me and said, I need you to then coach somebody else in the business. And they're one of my best clients. They're ace. Really great culture. So be a bit bold and ask for the sale and the communication. Follow up. So with people with following up, within a sales conversation, it's good to organise the follow up within the conversation. So you would have the conversation. They say, yes, we'd be interested, or yes, send us an email. Fantastic. I'd love to touch base to see what you think. When would suit you next week? So when you're speaking to people on the phone, make sure you're setting up that follow up, because then otherwise you're leaving the ball in their court. And they lose energy and enthusiasm and they're busy. So it brings that accountability to the fore. So make sure you follow up and make sure you plan the follow up. At events, find a way to start a conversation with people. And another thing within sales and getting clients, people are trying to do too much. And I use the analogy of trying to sleep with someone on the first date. Stop doing that. Try and, give them dinner, invite them to dinner. Do you know what I mean? So so you're giving them something, catch up, have a coffee, or within the conversation, start a conversation, find out where there's common ground, and stop trying to, also when someone asks you what you do, trying to have this most miraculous statement around what you do that they're going to go, oh my goodness, that's just so wonderful, I want you, I need you right now. So it's not about that. When you're chatting with people, it's part of an ongoing conversation and an ongoing relationship. So share something that sparks interest. So, for instance, I had someone for a play date the other day, and the woman said, oh, what did you do? Now, I could have said I was a business coach, and instead I said, I help, those entrepreneurs and business owners who are really passionate about something, what they do, but they're just not getting the income that they really want and deserve. I help those people, earn that more money and work a bit less. She goes, oh, you need to speak to my husband. If I'd said, I am a business coach, she wouldn't have said, come speak to my husband. But it was the beginning of a conversation. And that's what it's all about in terms of your communication. And have that ongoing communication with current and past clients. I told you that when I rang them all, past clients, about this seminar, people came along. People like you for a reason. You've offered them support in the past. And people love to feel loved. And so don't feel like you're bothering people. Feel like you're offering support, which you are. Often I'll ring people and they'll get some free coaching on the phone if anything comes up for them and I want to support them. So just start seeing it differently and communicating more effectively. Number 4 is not getting help. Number 4 big block is people don't get support and help. People don't survive on their own. You think, we need communities for a reason. You need people around you. So stop trying to do it on your own, please. So I really think that you should, suck it and see, get some help in some small way, and then see how it works for you. So you don't have to commit to this huge thing, employing someone, for instance, but, you can get a contractor or someone to support you in some way. I always say hire and fire fast. So if something's not really working out, then it's probably not meant to be. And I had someone recently who I love her to death. She's the most amazing person, but she wasn't right for the role. And we just ended up having a discussion, and she said, I don't think I'm right for the role. So she was here a few weeks, didn't quite work out. We've both moved on, and it's fine. So be really, my brother always says, and this is a bit harsh, if it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Meaning if the culture's not there, if they don't have the right attitude, then it's not going to work. So you want someone that you really connect with and who you think will do the job well, and then trial it, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. This is a big one for me. People will spend $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 on a website, but they won't get it on support. So I will say that if you hired, for instance, someone to help you with marketing or sales or whatever it is, and you paid $20 or $25 or $30, whatever it is, an hour for 5 hours a week, I'm not saying everyone don't get a website, but I'm just saying weigh up what support is really worth to you, and it can be worth a lot. So all I'm saying is look at all the tools around there, and getting the support from other people is a tool. So if you just, for instance, had someone paid somebody, like a uni student, $20 an hour, they're much happier doing that than pulling beers in a pub. They might be a marketing student, for example, and to get them some support in the business, and you're paying them $20 an hour for 5 hours a week, you get 30, months and months of support for your $3,000. So please start to think about how you can get support in your business. And don't get free advice from people who are not qualified to give you an opinion. So often people say, what do you think of my website? And someone else will comment, and the person isn't even your target market. I remember years ago this guy sending through an email, and he's lovely, about what he should call his business, and he sent it to all his friends. His friends, most of them weren't in his target market. So what does it matter what other people think? So if you are going to do some testing, do some proper market testing, not just asking people willy-nilly. So I often think that you measure something by how it's worked on, how many hours you spend on it, and how much strategy on it, rather than just personal hours that you do it. So, for instance, with marketing, I might spend 10 hours on it on my own, and then someone else might work in the business and spend 15 hours on it, and someone else might spend 6. So I'm getting 30 hours of marketing support per week. The business is. So see it as the business and not just you. And so then you say, oh, that other person, I'm feeling a bit jealous of their business because they're just going leaps and bounds. But if you're not willing to put in that time, either from you or getting other people to help you, well, what do you expect? If they're continually putting 31 hours of marketing into their business and you're putting 2, then how can you compare? Of course they're going to get ahead of quicker, and they're going to make mistakes and they're going to learn, but they're going to build faster than you. So just be really aware of that. Okay, number 5 biggest block is there's no longer term strategy and continued alignment with the strategy. And this is one that I was guilty of because I'm a bit of a spontaneous person. I was guilty of for years because I just didn't get together that longer term strategy, which I now have and feel fantastic about it. And it's about, often people will do business plans and then not even revisit it. A business plan isn't something that you do and then just file it away. So it's really important to get the foundations right so that you can build your beautiful house. So doing the foundations is doing that planning and getting it right. So you've got to work out what you're selling. What exactly are you selling? And who needs what you're selling? That's supposed to be do. Where do those people hang out? And how do you reach them? So really strategize around exactly what you're selling, and you might have one product and with 2 different markets. So for instance, my product might be coaching, for instance, but I might have and I don't advise this, but you might have a small business market and a corporate market for this coaching. Well, they're going to hang out in different places. So you have to treat them as different entities and you're going to reach them differently. And I'd also advise you to make sure that you're doing one at a time and not trying to spread yourself too thinly. So you need to take the time to revisit your plan and tweak it as you go along. Keep your strategies simple. It doesn't have to be rocket science. A little bit like that framing, the people who put the pictures on the walls, the art. The strategy to ask people if they like them to come and hang it is not a very complicated one. So it doesn't have to be complicated. Don't try to have too many products and services and infiltrate the market all at once. So I use the example there of Macca's. They very good marketers, and so their TV commercials at the moment, they actually just advertise one thing. They don't try and advertise all the range of foods. You think of any of those outlets, it's, not too much. Even Rivers, there's like, okay, we're doing men's jeans. These are the men's jeans. And they get people in because they want men's jeans and then they might buy other things. So for you, a good way to market is one thing. So if you're having conversations with people and you're marketing conversations or just general conversations, don't say, I do coaching and training, and I run seminars and I do this and this and this. There's nothing for people to grab hold of. So say, okay, I'm running a fantastic program and it's about this, for instance. So you're just focusing on the one thing. And not too many target markets at the one time either, because you just won't have the time to do anything well, and people won't perceive you as an expert in that industry. So, for instance, with the training company that I had a few years ago, what I used to do would be go to, that's right, the strategy was our key target market was local government. So we rang every local government in Victoria. I had a course that I developed for marketing for local government, and then we invited them along, and I think we got 20, which was pretty good. And then, so the strategy then is, okay, continue to build relationships with them and sell them other products and services. But it was quite a simple strategy, but it was one market, and they felt very special because it was particularly for them. So now over to you, and what I'd like you to have a think about is what's resonated from most for you from what I've said. So of all those things, hopefully you've been taking notes and writing stuff down. What are you going to do as a result of today's call? So I want you to really think about it and jot something down for me. Okay, so feel free to send those through to me. So the thing is, what often happens though is that you're going to lose a little bit of energy. You're a bit highly energized now. You might have a great idea, but it's not that you're able to do everything you need to from this one webinar today. So I wanted to share some great support that I can offer you, and it's really about how to grow the business and get more clients consistently and have a more strategic approach and be able to really sit with everything and strategize rather than just listen to me today and go, some of it will, go resonate and then just leave you. So what I'm going to share with you is something that's really going to help you spend time being more strategic in your business to get more clients. Because really it's a great start today, but really the tip of the iceberg in terms of you continually getting clients and having all the strategies you know to be able to get clients consistently. So I really want to help you with that. So I've really shared to you the what today, but I'd really really be able to build your house, your business, the analogy of the house, in the perfect way is to know how and consistently know how and have the strategies to be able to use to put in place. So I've got something that can really support you with this. Whether your clients, are the picture there with the older people, whether your clients are young people, whatever it is, being able to really support you to get the right sort of clients to your business, people that you love working with, and that hopefully you'll have a long-term relationship with, that will continually bring you in, good money and give you the freedom to live the life that you want to lead. And that's often why we're in business for. What is this about? So it's called How to Get 20 Clients in 20 Hours. It's a fantastic product that give you the knowledge so that you know what to do, and tools, really practical things that you can do and implement. Excuse me. But also I'm going to share with you a little bit extra that I'm going to give you in terms of support and really make it, it's a product that really helps you make it about you. Because I don't know if a lot of you know, but I'm actually a teacher. So I feel like I'm an expert and a teacher, which is not really a common combination out there. So I've been really successful in business and I know how to teach. So I finished in the top 10% of Melbourne University for teaching practice. So what's the great thing about this product is it's really, I know techniques to help you learn so that you'll be more likely to implement and more likely to get results. So I really encourage you to purchase this product. It'll help you get clearer about what's going to work for your business. You're going to get there much faster and be able to do stuff you love in your business and enjoy your life more. A client of mine who purchased 20 clients in 20 hours tripled his number of clients within 3 months. And as we've got a really good relationship, he now is coached by me, but he was really satisfied with the product alone in terms of getting his 20 clients in 20 hours and really changed his life from being someone who'd moved out of construction and into a consultative business. He was able to get those clients on board and really change his life. So it's a DVD set. You get the 2 DVDs, all the materials to go with it. And it's a real great opportunity to strategize for your business. You can do it in the comfort of your own own home, scribble notes. You can watch it over and over again, pause it, just get a whole lot of practical information on how to get clients really fast and get 20 in 20 hours. And it's proven because I've done it, and I'll share you 4 key methods that I used, and so you'll then be able to follow those methods to ensure that you get there too. So it's usually $349. So today, for coming on the webinar and being really valued clients, I'd like to offer it to you for $249. Sorry, it's supposed to be, I think we've got it for $247. So I've taken $102 off, and it's really fantastic value. You can't lose. In fact, even if you got 1 or 2 more clients, you'd easily make up the money. And once you start using these strategies, you'll know how to get more. So it is really, really good value. So we would like you to, if I can just get to the next, here we go. Excuse me, sorry. So I'm just going to shoot you through the link. And what I want to say too, that what I'll do is, if you purchase today, I'll give you a special price of $249, and I'll also throw in a 90-minute strategy session with me where we can work out how you can implement a lot of what you've learnt through the product. So it's a great learning product, but it's really practical, and it'll help you get all the clients that you need. It's also guaranteed, so if you use it within, you send it back within the first month if it doesn't meet your needs. But I think you'll find it really valuable. And as I said, even if you get 1 or 2 clients out of it, and I'm sure you'll get more, then you'll be able to just tell them that. Oh, sent it to okay. Right, great. So, sorry, I've just had a note saying that we've just sent it to you. So you'll see the link there in the under questions. The link is there, so click it now and make sure that you secure this great deal, because it's a special pre-launch deal. We're about to launch it worldwide and wanted you to be privy to it first. So click the link. Also, yes, so it's the first 5 people. I'll give you the strategy session as well. So click the link. Congratulations for being on the call. And any questions we've gotten through, I'll answer them as soon as possible. And if I can't answer them by email, I'm happy to give you a call. Okay, thanks for coming along. Congratulations on taking this big step. Click the link now, and I hope to speak to you soon.